Punjab security breach case. Supreme Court slamming Punjab cops for this security breach of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Supreme Court observing, in fact, India Today expose, while our channel broke how Prime Minister Modi's convoy was blocked off by protesters despite enough and more information that the Punjab cops may have had. It seems like their intelligence had completely failed any of those protesters. They're trying to heckle Prime Minister's convoy as soon as he arrived in Punjab on the 5th of Jan, ahead of elections in the state. Now, the Supreme Court looking at the matter, also scrutinizing India Today's report. CJI says SSP Ferozepur has failed to discharge his responsibilities to maintain law and order, even though he was aware that people had gathered. The CJI further saying Prime Minister's security blue book needs an update. CJI says oversight panel to look into the breach. This is the Supreme Court establishing that the Punjab cops have terribly failed in ensuring security. Anisha Mathur joining us more on that. Anisha, a quick word. Prime Minister's security breach in Punjab. It was quite a scare when a bunch of people tried to heckle Prime Minister's convoy right before elections in Punjab. The matter is now in Supreme Court. Of course, the court condemning that they've not done enough. Punjab cops have failed.
Well, yes, Nabila, the Supreme Court had in January appointed a committee headed by retired Supreme Court Justice Indu Malhotra to look into this PM security breach. That committee has now given its report, which has very clearly said that SSP Ferozepur failed to discharge his responsibilities to maintain law and order, that he was aware of the people gathering on the road. He was also aware that the PM convoy would be taking that particular route. The committee has also identified certain remedial measures. It has said that there has to be more training with regard to the Blue Book. The Blue Book on VVIP security also needs to be updated, and there needs to be better coordination between the state agencies and the central agency. But the court has also been informed by the committee that the SSP Ferozepur was negligent in his duty. The apex court for now has not passed any directions or orders on this matter. They have said that we are sending this report to the central government to look into this. It is now for the central government to consider what steps can be taken next on this particular issue. But this is a serious issue that has come up. This is a serious report that has come up before the court, where the court-appointed committee has found that there is need for a review of the Blue Book. There is a need for review of the security measures that are put in place, and there is need for an oversight committee to coordinate all of these issues. So a big recommendation coming in from the committee, and we'll have to now see what the government will do about this. Back to you.
You know, Anisha, we'd like to know what's been the justification of the Punjab police in court with regards to their failed protection for Prime Minister Narendra Modi. It's the Prime Minister, it's not just any other Neta and his convoy entering Punjab. They were very well aware, informed. So this was their duty to be ensuring high security for the Prime Minister's convoy. So what justification have they given in court?
Well, Nabila, the Punjab police has not given any reports or written submissions since this matter came up back in March. Remember, at that time when this issue had come up, when this matter had happened, the court had questioned the Punjab government exactly what happened. At that time, the Advocate General for Punjab had said that we had made adequate arrangements. Then at that time, the Punjab government had said that it was not our fault, that it is the PM security which did not inform us that they were changing the route, that we had in fact informed the PM security in charge that there is some sort of hold up on this route. And that was the stand that was taken back then. Today, there was no submission or statement by the Punjab police or the Punjab government. Today, the court has simply taken up the report that has been given by the court-appointed committee. So the big questions still remain, because the details of the report have not been made public. A very short extract from that report has been read out in the open court. But the questions remain open. How exactly was that crowd allowed to come so close to halting the PM's convoy?
Right.
What exactly happened with the communication between the state agencies and the central agencies? Because the committee has said that information was being exchanged, but there seems to have been a
absolute failure, and that's quite evident with the Supreme Court also now observing the same. Stay with us. Gaurav Bhatia of the BJP joining us on the phone line. Mr. Bhatia, CJI saying the SSP of Ferozepur has failed to discharge his responsibilities to maintain law and order, even though he was aware that people had gathered. This was almost, it appears that as if they deliberately did not convey the message to the Prime Minister's security. How would you look at this?
This is a very serious observation made by the apex court of the country after perusing the report. And I must say this with some responsibility today, that for the then Congress government, Channi ji acted under the instructions of the topmost leadership of the Congress party, ignoring the constitutional duty that he owed to the Prime Minister's post and to the people of the country. And this is a case of dereliction of duty, and it's a perfect example of how Congress party indulges in petty politics, going to any extent, even risking the life of the elected Honorable Prime Minister. And thus, this is a very serious remark made by the Honorable Supreme Court. Sonia Gandhi ji and Rahul Gandhi ji should take responsibility of the failure and apologize to the country.
All right. Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, thank you very much for joining us with those details. All right, that's the security breach of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, which it appears the Supreme Court has now observed that this has been an absolute failure from the part of the SSP Ferozepur. He's failed to discharge his responsibilities to maintain law and order, even though he was quite aware that people had gathered. The Chief Justice of India saying that Prime Minister's Security Blue Book needs an update. Oversight panel to look into this breach for now. In fact, the Supreme Court was hearing the matter on Prime Minister Narendra Modi's security breach on the 5th of Jan in Punjab. Soon as Prime Minister arrived into Punjab, there were a bunch of men who barged in, tried to heckle, showing black flags at the Prime Minister's convoy, right at his window. His vehicle, in fact, was quite literally surrounded. Soon as his security jumped in and cordoned them off. It was certainly a scare for the Prime Minister. At that point, a lot of questions were raised on how the Punjab police, despite knowing the Prime Minister's convoy was going to be entering Punjab, did not ensure security. And if their intelligence had failed, they have to respond in court today.